Hello people, I'm the Real Comic Book Gamer. Today I'm going to be counting down my top 10 favorite lightsaber duels of all time. Now here are the rules I came up with for this list, which is it has to be lightsaber v lightsaber, so no like Obi-Wan versus Jango Fett. Also, I'm choosing from the movies, obviously, the Clone Wars animated show, the Clone Wars movie, and Rebels. Those are the things that you can choose from, not necessarily mean I'm going to be choosing one from each one, but those are things that I could have chosen from. And also, yeah, I'm not going to be basing this solely off the battle itself. It's also other things factor into it, like the story and like what it means to the movie as a whole and things like that, and the atmosphere and the setting and the dialogue and stuff like that. And also, before I do get into this list, I want to just say, as a thank you to you guys, I'm going to be doing a comics giveaway on my Twitter. I'll be giving away some free digital comics on there, so if you want to, you can go check out my Twitter, and I'll be tweeting it out all the day. I'll be tweeting out different free digital comics, which I do this every once in a while. When I get like a bunch of different comics that I get stacked up, I'll just give them all away on Twitter. So all throughout today, I'm going to be tweeting out a bunch of different codes for comics. So yeah, link in the description and go check that out if you want to. Anyways, let's get into the video. Starting off at number 10, I have Anakin Obi-Wan versus Count Dooku. I wasn't a big fan of how Count Dooku was able to take out Obi-Wan so quickly. Not saying he couldn't, but I thought it was done pretty stupidly, but still, overall, the fight is cool. And yes, I have seen the theories about, well, Palpatine lowered Obi-Wan's force shield. Well, if that's true, then cool, but we don't know if that's, like, true. I don't think I've seen an actual canon explanation for it, but if that's true, then yeah, that makes sense to me. But anyways, the Anakin versus Dooku stuff in this fight is really cool and really well done, especially the way Anakin does like that one move where he cuts his hands off and then catches the lightsaber and executes him. It looks so like fluid and smooth. I love it. It looks really cool. And of course, having Palpatine just pressuring him into doing it. And it's also one of the best acted scenes by Hayden Christensen, because you can actually see the struggle in him where he's like, no, he doesn't want to kill Dooku. You can see that struggle, that conflict, but then he ultimately gives in to what Palpatine was telling him to do and he kills him. But yeah, that was one of the best acted scenes by Hayden Christensen. Just the fight is pretty cool between Anakin and Dooku. The Obi-Wan stuff, not so much, but the Anakin Dooku stuff, definitely. At number 9, I have Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader, the first ever lightsaber battle. Of course, I have to have this on this list. This fight is legendary. It is the first time we actually get to see a Jedi and a Sith go at it. Now, the fight, I know a lot of people make fun of it. It is a little lame in some ways, but up until they get to the point where they're just poking each other, it actually is really well done, and it's pretty intense, especially because the first time you see it, you don't know what's going to happen, and you've never seen anything like this happen before. It's like, this is just awesome when you're first watching it. It's so cool, and the dialogue going back and forth is great, and you can tell there's history there, the fact that he used to be Obi-Wan's apprentice, and it's so cool that first time you watch it. It's still cool to go back and watch, but again, the fight itself is actually really well done until it gets to the point where they're like both trying to poke each other. There it looks a little stupid, but yeah, it is done well. He's like, you know, if you strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you could possibly imagine. It's like, what does that mean? There's so much stuff there, like so much mystery surrounding the fight. It's really cool, and I just love the way the fight is done, and again, it is the first ever lightsaber fight, so I have to have it on this list, and it is well done. And Obi-Wan's death, I'm still sad to this day about that, because Obi-Wan is my favorite Star Wars character, so to see him die, it's just so sad. But yeah, the lightsaber fight I really enjoyed it. I know a lot of people make fun of it, but again, up until they're poking each other, it's actually well done. Rewatch it. I encourage you to go like search it up on YouTube and rewatch it. I might actually try and like link them down in the description, link all the fights down in the description if you want to rewatch them. I'll try to find them on YouTube and link them if I can remember to do that. But yeah, it is pretty intense up until they're poking each other. It's very well done. At number 8, I have Obi-Wan and Gala versus Darth Maul and Savage Opress. It's my first Clone Wars fight on the list. It's a very well done fight. I really enjoyed it. It's so much fun to watch. It's action-packed. It's really cool. And I was not expecting Gala to die in the fight, so when that happened, I was like, damn, they just straight up killed a Jedi, because Savage Opress rams her with his horns and then stabs her through with the lightsaber. I was not expecting that to happen, so that was a bit of a surprise, and I was really happy that they were able to do that. Like I said, it's like actually did something. I really like that. And then to see Obi-Wan actually be pretty powerful, because for the most part in the Clone Wars, it felt like in most of the lightsaber duels, Obi-Wan kind of got his butt kicked a lot. It felt just that's the vibe I got for the most part. For Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars, he just kind of like got kicked around a lot, but in this he actually felt pretty powerful. He's taking on two guys, and I love the part where they're in the tunnel and he grabs her and he's using both lightsabers. He's using his lightsaber and Gala's, and Darth Maul's like, just surrender. There's two of us. You can't take us on. And Obi-Wan goes, you are mistaken. And then he takes him on and he cuts off Savage Opress's arm. And then that's when he has them on the back foot. It's a 1v2, and then Obi-Wan has them on the back foot, but Darth Maul just throws him with the Force and separates him so that way Obi-Wan can't do further harm. And I thought that was pretty cool because I was not expecting that. When Gala died, I was like, rip, nope, no, Obi-Wan's get the crap beat out of him again, because at the end of the season 4 fight, that's kind of what happened. The season 4 fight between Asajj Ventress and Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul and Savage Opress was kind of like, Obi-Wan's just not doing so hot here. Then in this, in a 1v2, he actually gets the better of them, and I thought that was pretty cool. At number 7, I have Count Dooku versus Obi-Wan and Anakin in Attack of the Clones. This fight is actually pretty cool. My favorite part about it is the Obi-Wan versus Dooku part, and what's really unique about it is the fact that there's no music playing during the Obi-Wan and Dooku part. But during the Dooku versus Anakin part, yeah, there's music, but during the Obi-Wan versus Dooku part, no music at all. It's just the sound design and their dialogue, and the sound design in this is amazing. I love hearing the lightsabers clash and hearing them hum, because you can really hear them hum a lot louder when there's no music, and I just love that. And then when he just takes down Obi-Wan, we get to see Anakin dual-wielding lightsabers, which was the first time we saw that in the movies, so I loved seeing that. And then he gets taken down, and like just seeing Dooku destroy these people. Also, it was cool seeing the contrast between Dooku and Darth Maul, because Darth Maul was just this hammer that non-stop went at it, just like wrecked people, just kept going. And Dooku was very much fought a lot more like a Jedi, considering he did used to be a Jedi, but he's very calm, cool, and collective, and he would try to like take you down a peg with his words as well while fighting you. I loved that, and Dooku was really cool and badass in this scene, and just, yeah, the fight was done really well. I didn't care for the Yoda versus Dooku part of it, but the Anakin and Obi-Wan versus Dooku part was done really well to me. At number 6, another Clone Wars fight, I have Darth Sidious versus Darth Maul and Savage Opress. This fight was so awesome. Seeing Darth Sidious show up to Mandalore and be like, hey, you're a rival, I'm gonna kick your ass. And a lot of this fight, he's throwing them around with the Force, and that is pretty cool, seeing him just destroy them with the Force, how much more powerful he is, and also seeing Darth Sidious dual wield lightsabers. And this is the best fight Darth Sidious is ever in my opinion, in the movies or the show. I think this is the best one he's in. He just does amazing in this fight, taking them both on, killing Savage Opress, and then we see Darth Maul get really mad, take the dark saber and his lightsaber and dual wield him and go after him, but he's still no match for him. And then Palpatine just destroys him with Force lightning. Like, yeah, I still have plans for you. But yeah, just that fight is so badass and awesome, and was a great way to like cap off the season and like cap off Darth Maul. At number 5, I have Darth Maul versus Vizsla, the leader of Death Watch. Seeing Darth Maul challenge the leader of Death Watch to take over Mandalore and take over Death Watch was pretty cool. I loved seeing that. He just goes straight up, challenges them in a saber duel, and we get to see the dark saber in action, which whenever we get to see that, I think that's pretty cool, because I like the dark saber, and seeing Darth Maul fight him and then behead him with the dark saber, oh man, that was sick. And if there was one word I could use to describe this fight, it would be intense, because that's what it is. Just these lightsabers clashing and hearing the hum of the dark saber, because it's so much louder than the other sabers, is really cool. And just these two going at it was awesome. In the end, Darth Maul decapitates him, which is just such a cool way to end the fight. At number 4, I have Obi-Wan versus Anakin, Revenge of the Sith. We had waited so long to see this fight, and when we saw it, it kind of like blew my mind when I first saw it. I don't think it's as good as it was when I first saw it, but I still really do enjoy this fight. And having Battle of the Heroes, one of my favorite scores from the entirety of the Star Wars saga, playing in the background, was awesome. And seeing these two fight on also the planet was cool. I love seeing them fight on Mustafar. I love the background, like the backdrop of Mustafar was cool, and seeing these two friends go at it. And the dialogue was iffy at some parts, and at other parts it was good. Oh, and Ewan McGregor did a great job at delivering some of this terrible dialogue. Some parts was like, dialogue from a lesser actor would sound terrible, but coming from Ewan McGregor, it sounded pretty good, some of it. And yeah, it tugged at your heartstrings a bit, because you know like what's going to happen in the future and who these guys are, and you do know their history now. And so it was a bit on the sad side. It was a bit emotional, and also just it was very intense, incredibly fast paced. I do feel it did feel a bit too choreographed, but at the same time, these are two guys that have been training together for years, so of course they would know each other's moves like the back of their hand. But yeah, the end it is kind of lame, the whole, you know, I have the high ground, he wins because of that, but I see that sort of as Obi-Wan psyching Anakin out, like, oh yeah, no balls, you won't jump over my head, you can't, because you're not powerful enough. And then Anakin's like, of course I'm powerful enough, watch this, and then just gets destroyed. I see it as like a mind game Obi-Wan did, and it paid off for him because he was able to beat Anakin. Yeah, just the lightsaber fight's pretty cool. At number 3, I have Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon versus Darth Maul. Now, if this list was going purely off how cool the fights looked and the choreography, this would definitely be number 1, because I think this is just purely off the saber fight, nothing else, not off the dialogue, off the setting, off the atmosphere, off like the feeling of it, nothing, like none of the story or anything affected it. If it was just purely off the saber fighting, this would be number 1, but since it's not, that's why it's number 3. The fight is so intense and just awesome, and I love something that like I noticed with the rest of the prequels. I felt like the sound in this, to me, for the lightsabers were so much more brutal and just louder, and I love the way they sounded, like so more powerful is actually the word I'd use to describe the lightsaber sounds in this compared to the rest of the prequels or the original trilogy. Just they sound like so much power when the lightsabers would clash, and I loved hearing that. And then when Qui-Gon dies, it is a bit sad because you can see it in Obi-Wan's eyes that that's his master died, and also the fact that it goes the saber fight ramps up to 11 from that. When Qui-Gon dies and then the doors open and they're in the theater and he goes in there and starts fighting Darth Maul, I thought the fight before that was incredibly fast-paced and really intense, but then it ramps up to 11 and really intense, and it doesn't look like really choreographed like Revenge of the Sith fight did. It looks like two just masters going at it, and it looks awesome. Then the way it ended I thought was pretty cool. Darth Maul was just being arrogant and he didn't expect it, and he was so shocked that Obi-Wan was able to beat him like that. Also, it was the first time we got to see the double-bladed lightsaber, so of course that's awesome. And yeah, just overall I really love this fight. At number 2, I have Darth Vader versus Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi. I love the setting of the Emperor's throne room. It's great, especially when it gets so dark and you see the lightsabers ignite. And I love Vader trying to manipulate Luke and try to get him to get all angry, and it works, but it was not a good plan because Luke just kicks his ass because he just goes so crazy and ballistic, and angry Luke is awesome. We also get to see that, like, the first time we see a saber throw, which was so awesome to see Vader just chuck his lightsaber up there, because Luke gets up there, he gets the high ground, and Vader's like, nope, I've been there, done that, throws the saber to cut him down from the high ground. That was awesome. And I love the part where he's in hiding, and then Vader's like, if you will not join me, perhaps she will. And then Luke just goes crazy and goes ballistic and just beats on him until he's down. I love it. I love the way the fight ends, where Luke's like, no, I'm not going to do it. Also get my favorite quote, "You failed, your highness. I am a Jedi, like my father before me." That's my favorite quote from any movie ever. It's just such a great line. It supplements who Luke is perfectly. And yeah, just overall the fight's great. I love the story elements to the fight, the dialogue, the fight itself is awesome, the setting, it's just everything about it is awesome. Then at number 1, you knew this was going to be it, the fight between Luke and Vader in Empire Strikes Back. That fight is so amazingly done. It's great. It has the coolest setting to me that any of the lightsaber battles take place, and there's a lot of cool settings like the Emperor's throne room or the Mustafar or the generator on Theed. Just so many different cool settings, but this one is the coolest to me. It starts off at the carbonite freezing chamber. It's so awesome. I love it. I love how dark it is, and like the contrast with the light, with how bright the lightsabers are, and seeing them fight. And the dialogue is the best in any of the lightsaber fights to me as well. And Luke's just kind of getting his ass kicked the whole time, and Vader's just toying with him, and then occasionally Luke gets some hits in, and that makes Vader a little bit mad, and that's why he just goes ballistic and cuts Luke's hand off. Because before that, it didn't seem like he had any plan to do that, but then when Luke gets that hit on his arm, we see Vader go ballistic and cut his hand off. He's like, nope, none of that. I ain't having any of it. He's like, no. I love that. And then I love the part where he falls into the actual carbonite freezing part of it, and then he's just like, all too easy. He just flips the switch, and then Luke jumps up in there, and it just I love it. Everything about this fight is great. We get to see Vader just chucking things at him with the Force, which was really cool, and also the first time we got to see something like that. And yeah, just seeing Vader destroying Luke, and this was the first lightsaber battle we actually got to see where it wasn't just two old men fighting. I like that, and just, yeah, it was a lot more fast-paced and intense compared to the one in A New Hope. But yeah, my favorite lightsaber battle by far. Anyways, please let me know in the comments below, what are your favorite lightsaber duels? I want to know. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.